Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode. And I've got a fantastic guest for you from the land down under, Aaron Witnish. He's a content marketing agency owner, but he's got this creation system where in 30 days uh you can do 30 days and 90 minutes content creation system. So, for a lot of the audience, the doctors, lawyers, people that want to create a brand, but time is of utmost importance. Aaron is the guy to talk to. So I'm happy to welcome him to the show. So Aaron, welcome.
Christopher, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I love talking, and so talk about your background and your story, how you got started, and how you help clients.
Yeah, well, if we go all the way back to the beginning, and I'll keep this brief, about 14 years ago, I launched my first agency. And in the beginning, I was just selling my own information products online. And then people back then, it wasn't a mainstream and something that everybody did. And slowly but surely, when you start getting a little bit of results, people ask, oh, how are you doing that? And that's how the agency was birthed. People knowing that I was setting up landing pages and selling digital products, you start helping other people. So that was the agency. And over the last 14 years, it's more from doing end to end services and advertising and all the different platforms to now specializing in content. And one of the reasons that happened is one, because I just love content and I think it's so important for businesses and people building a brand. But it's also one of the biggest challenges for most business owners, creators, to create consistent content at a high quality for their audience because there's so many variables. So that's kind of the fast version of how we got to where we are today.
Yeah, I love this. And kind of the top of mind on the audience and listeners today is so walk us through the foundational steps of your 30 days in 90 minutes creation system and what makes it so effective and efficient for content marketers today.
Sure. The first thing to do is to identify the primary platform of your target clients to keep it really simple. You're starting out. So you go, where would my target audience be consuming content? What time of the day are they consuming that content? And that's the easiest place to know where to focus on in the beginning. Now, step one in the three-step system is the ideas. And this is where a lot of people get stuck. The fastest way to get ideas for your target audience is to go to a tool like Google, which is free, and type in a keyword. So if you're a health professional, a doctor, a dentist, or not a health professional like a lawyer, you can take a keyword that someone might search. So let's say that they're searching something like gut health or gut problems. If you scroll down on Google, a little bit down the fold, there's a people also ask section, and it'll give you all the queries and questions that your target clients and audience are typing into Google. And if you keep clicking down, it'll give you question after question after question. So you can get unlimited content ideas and unlimited titles for your content just by using a tool like Google and knowing, hey, this is what my audience is actually searching for. So it doesn't matter what industry or sector you're in, just run that little step to get your content ideas. Step two is what we have labeled record. So step one's research, step two is record. And what you do is you get a list of 12 questions each month, and you get a colleague, or it could be a client, it could be a friend, someone in your network. And then you jump on a platform. We use Google Meet just because it saves the recording to Google Drive. And they're going to interview style ask you the questions that you got from step one research. And because it's a conversational style and you're talking back and forth with them, it's very natural. So you're the most authentic version of yourself, and it doesn't feel like you're staring down the camera trying to nail the take. And you just talk your way through the 12 questions. They prompt you, they hit mute, you talk. Best way to do is to show up on your iPhone in portrait mode if you want to create short form content because it'll be in the right dimensions. So if you go through, answer those 12 questions, the third step to get down to your 30 days content in 90 minutes is repurpose. And there are a few different ways that you can turn this into your short form content. So if you're bootstrapping and you're at the beginning of your journey, there are tools like Opus Clip, where if you give the video file to Opus Clip, it'll spit out several short form clips with captions on them. You will have to go through and edit them. The
Uh-huh.
only challenge with using AI in this capacity is that it won't necessarily cut the clips that you want. It'll intuitively cut what it feels it should cut. So you might not get content for each of those questions. The next step is to go to a freelancing platform that could be Upwork, something like that, and give them the instructions. Hey, can you cut a clip for each of these 12 questions that I asked? This is my branding. Can you put the captions on that? Because most people watch the videos without sound on, and we need the captions to hold their attention. And then you get your 12 pieces of video content. Then you can take the video, give it to a transcription tool like rev.com. That'll turn that around in about 5 minutes, and then you can take that transcription to ChatGPT and train it on how to rewrite that into the post, or again, go to Upwork, give it to a content marketer and get them to rewrite parts of the transcription into content. And that's how you get your 30 days content in 90 minutes.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so with because AI is the top of mind, which was my next question is with all these really awesome tools you mentioned, ChatGPT and Opus Clip. There's a lot and with generative AI, there's this dichotomy between content quality versus content quality. And with the evolving algorithms of social media platforms emphasizing different aspects, what's your take on quality versus quantity in content production?
Really great point to tackle. So quality content's always going to reign, because what the algorithm wants to do is put content that people click on, and then that retains their attention so they can hold them on the platform, show more advertising. So regardless of whether the content's synthetic or whether it's natural and human generated, not using AI, what's going to determine whether it gets shown to more people is, are people stopping, and is it getting their attention in the feed, and then is it retaining them? So again, it might not matter so much about how the content was generated, but what's going to matter most is it quality? Are people interacting with it? Is it holding them on that platform? So that's what's going to be most important at the end of the day. And I think it's going to also come down to the end user's preferences. Some people are going to enjoy consuming AI content. There's going to be a lot of people that just want the authentic human side, and each platform's intuitive enough to know what content to show to the end user based on tracking them. So I think that's how it's going to get measured and what it's going to come down to in the future.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, the way you were talking about your 30 days in 90 minutes, it reminded me of, scaling quantity. But if you input quality content into there and use the AI to, scale that, so you can scale quality and quantity. So the next question is what are the most common challenges content creators are facing today, and how does your system address these challenges?
There's so many variables. Which platforms do you post on? What formats? When you post it? How often do you post it? It's extremely overwhelming if you're not a creator and you're not in the marketing space. Even if you're in the space, you got to try and keep up. So for business owners, it's really confusing, and you've got all these other priorities screaming for your attention, clients, managing the team, problems that pop up. So content is usually something that gets pushed to the bottom of the list. So if we want to simplify it, again, it's going, okay, which platform has my target audience that I'm most likely to retain their attention? And we go all the way back to step one, research. Creating content that solves their problems, answers their questions, means that it's relevant content. So if you can get those two ingredients right, and then post it at a time when you know they're going to be on the platform. So it might be the evening, not during business hours, and you use 2 to 5 hashtags that are relevant to your niche and your industry. If you tick those boxes and it's good content and it solves problems, you're going to go a long way to getting your content to perform without overcomplicating it.
Yeah, yeah, it's a really fantastic response. And also, to follow up on your question and idea, is there's this dichotomy also of interest between the social media algorithms, and basically those are designed to promote, like, it's kind of incite or kind of trigger you, and it's to get views and eyeballs and likes and comments and shares. But then there's also the content creator side, where it's like, if you see creators who are focusing on quality and actually engaging with their audience, they may have, let's say they have 2,000, but they're super loyal subscribers. versus like, an influencer who's gaming the algorithm has like 2 million followers. And so how do you, again, it kind of goes to this quantity quality, but it kind of goes to the question of, are really likes and follows and shares really that relevant, or is it just kind of, just ignore?
Depends on what your goal is, which I think is important to understand that as someone that's creating content. So if you're an entertainer, then absolutely you want as many views and interactions as you can because you're super broad and that's what you're going for. But if you're a business owner, you're a niche, you're a specialist, which means not all views are created equal. You're much better off getting in front of 10 people that have the problem that you can solve. That could be a client, a patient, a customer, than 10,000 people that have no utility for what you do. So in my view, if you're a business owner, then the vanity metrics, they're not important. It's the quality of the audience that matters most. And if you can go deep rather than wide, which means you build connection with, like you said, a smaller group of people that will continue to do business with you for many years and have a small community versus a vanity sort of brand that gets all this reach and likes, but it doesn't monetize, that's far more important. So if you're in business, focus on quality audience, solving problems that your target customers have. If you're an entertainer, then do catchy headlines, do gimmicks, do what you need to do because you need to get that reach and engagement. So it's understanding why you're creating content and who you're creating it for.
Yeah, yeah, there's like again, it's very intentional, being intentional about what you're there for. Yeah. The things with like followers and views and likes, those are kind of also social proof too, kind of if brands are interested, but then I know a lot of brands that have very engaged and they're not very showy, but they make significant sales. So I love that response. Next question is so kind of future trends. I'm always interested in what are some trends in content marketing that you believe will be crucial for personal and brand growth in the next few years?
We're going to see a lot more content created because of AI. And the reality is, if you don't create quality content, it's not going to get shown in the feed because they're going to put, say, someone that goes to chat GPT and they put a duplicate piece of content that they've put the same input, same question into the machine that thousands of other people have. They're going to get a very similar predicted output in terms of the text that they get back. So if that's getting put onto a feed, the algorithm will know, hey, people are not likely to respond or interact with this, so we're not going to show it to many people. So you'll punish yourself if you're doing lazy content creation in high volume.
Yeah.
So again, quality is, I think, human, even though we're going into a lot of synthetic content, being human gives you an edge because of the authenticity. No one can mimic, or people can imitate you, but if you show up as the authentic version of yourself, you're the original. And I think that'll stand out as more and more synthetic content comes out. Now, synthetic content, AI generated content is what that means, will expand rapidly, and there'll be lots of AI generated video. And I think what we'll see is the platforms figuring out how to treat it and how to place it. And like I said, I think it's going to come down to certain end users are going to like synthetic content, so they'll get shown more synthetic content, and other users of platforms will like the human style where they get the connection because we are a species that we do like connection, and in a world where more and more people are glued to devices and we're losing that physical touch, if you can connect with people virtually and digitally, you're going to be effective long term, and that'll never go out of fashion and never stop trending, being a human.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Especially the generative AIs. The next question I have is also changes in consumption patterns because we started out with blogs, so we started out with words, and then more of the social media content's being consumed on vertical short form video. So where do you see this era where you have blogs and you have micro blogging, you have micro tweets, and then like for example platforms like Twitter, LinkedIn, I think you got Substack, Medium, all kind of vying in the blogosphere, but then you also have like video. So and then AI can hit all of those. So which like people said that blogging and SEO were dead, but with AI it's I feel like it's come alive again. So what are your thoughts on like the word based versus video based?
The best way to know where it's all heading and what to focus on is actually to follow the people that run the platforms that do all the announcements. So, for example, the CEO of YouTube a few months ago did an open letter or open article that explained what they're focusing on. So, rather than trying to guess where it's going, if you go, you look at the platforms that you're creating content for, the platforms that you're using, find the people involved on the platform that openly share the direction that and what they're focusing on in terms of what they're going to show the users and the content that they're embracing. And that's how you don't have to predict or guess where it's heading. You can just follow the trends that they're putting on the table and create the best form of content. So rather than giving a broad answer, I'd say wherever you're creating content, wherever you're consuming content, find the developers or find the CEO, the person that puts open letters, articles, or does a video talking about where the platform's heading, because that's the easiest way to anticipate that rather than guessing what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And always, it's really beneficial to hear these updates because then you can see where where they're focusing on, like, YouTube, when TikTok was a competitor, they focus on shorts and now they're focused on podcasting, and Spotify, and it's really great advice. How can people find out more about you and follow your social media, check out your agency, work with you?
Well, the best thing to do is we give away the 30 days in 90 minutes content creation system for free. So if you
Oh,
go to contentonly.au, we've got a training video that walks you through how to do that. There's two pathways. You implement that system yourself, and naturally, if you think it's more time efficient and better value to talk to us about doing it for you, then we can help. So contentonly.au, download the system for free. That's the best way to get in touch and see what we're all about.
I love that. And for all the audience, let's thank Aaron for coming on and give his socials a like and follow. Check out his media agency. See, download this the product for free and see if it works for you. And if it resonates, work with him. And with that, thanks so much for coming on.
Been so much fun. Thanks, Chris.